Hello, everybody. It's Jen Hill, and I'm here. Say hi. This is Kathy Spindler from Spindler Laws. I'm sorry, I don't know the title of your company.
It's Spindler and Associates. Hello.
Spindler and Associates. Okay, and Zach Kemp from Kemp Law Firm.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
Yes.
Well, thanks for joining us on Chamber Chatter. I'm with the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm really excited that you both are here. And I'm going to talk to you first, Zach, and I want to know from both of you, what has changed in your business and how are you adapting and how's it going? Zach?
Oh boy, well, not going to the office is a huge thing. Having to set up a home office here in my somewhat finished Florida room. I look through the door, there's kids running around, and that's always fun. And not going to court certainly is a huge thing. We're doing a lot more things through Zoom or everything's just getting moved until a later date. So, there's a lot of talking to clients about, they want things done now, and I'm like, I can't.
Right. So your hands are kind of tied with, you're trying
things,
to move forward, but you can't. And yeah.
I mean, there's always emergencies that come up and we can address those, but, general day-to-day things, we can't move. Now, I mean, conversely, the federal stuff that I have going, things that are in federal court, like bankruptcy court, they have done a really good job of adapting and moving everything to telephone or FaceTime, Zoom, things like that. And they've always done their filing electronically. So as long as I have a scanner and an internet connection, I'm good.
Kathy, how about you? How's your business going and what changes have you made and how do you feel about it?
Well, starting March 23rd, when everything kind of started closing down for us because of the court systems, that created a huge change in my business. Most of my business is very court driven. And so when they started making the decisions that groups larger than 50 and things like that couldn't meet, then that just immediately cut off a lot of what I typically do. So at that point, we started focusing with our clientele on things that we could still do, like estate planning and things like that. And we reached out to a lot of our divorce clients because it was probably time for them to do their estate planning, which then kind of kept us operating for a while at that point, working on those types of matters. The nice thing is that the court system has started to open up. So even though we can't go there for trial work and motion hearings and things like that, what used to be where you could only electronically file a divorce without minor children, we can now file anything electronically. They really opened up the electronic system. We also can file motions now. A lot of the courts are starting to have Zoom hearings or teleconferences when it isn't a highly contested issue. And so I think because the court systems are starting to realize that this could be a long haul or happen again, they need to figure out how to adapt their systems to allow us to still work. And so that's been really great. So as our estate planning kind of ebbed off, we started getting more divorces and things like that going again. I have, 3 or 4 new ones going right now. So that's kind of started to reopen. The other thing is with estate planning, the big issue when we were doing that was we couldn't notarize because we couldn't meet with people. And so what happened was the governor came down with a change for that too, and allowed us to have a mechanism to notarize and to witness by having a Zoom appointment. And there are very specific protocols we have to go through, but we can now notarize. So as this is unfolded, the courts and the governor have really tried to find ways to allow at least our businesses to somehow move forward, because we certainly can't go to large scale hearings yet, but we can do a lot more than we could have done 4 weeks ago. We can do a lot more than we could do 4 weeks ago.
So we've done these chamber chatters for the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks with different business people in different industries. And what you're saying to me sounds like a lot of what other people are saying, is that it's kind of forced business to operate in a different way that in the future is going to open up your business in a different way. Does that make sense? So that we're paving a path that once everything opens up, that maybe this will be a great thing for both of you. What do you say to that?
Well, for sure. I mean, the running joke is that the legal profession is the second oldest profession. Sometimes tied to the first oldest, but you know. So lawyers, judges, everything is very slow to adapt. I mean, e-filing's been around since I've been, at the very least, since I've been an attorney. So, but it was, as Kathy said, it was strictly limited to a subset of cases that didn't deal with constitutional right issues. So you didn't do e-filing in criminal cases. You didn't do e-filing in cases where kids were involved. Since they've opened that up now, I mean, that's great. You know, the framework's always been there. It's just essentially somebody had to flip a switch. And then, you know, again, with estate planning, wills need witnesses. With this going on, you can't really witness the signing of a will and social distance at the same time. So with the changes now that we can do everything electronically through video means, I mean, it's great. And it's one of those things that I hope stays, because, you know, I understand the formality and the personal touch that is involved at times with issues like that, but you know, we have the technology now. It's like the $6 million man. We can do it. We have the technology.
Kathy, what do you think?
Well, I hope a lot of it stays around too. Also, because I think it's really good for a lot of clients. So for example, when I have to file a new action in Oakland County or Wayne County or Washtenaw County, I have to hire a runner, or I have to go there myself, and that gets really expensive for clients. Well, to be able to do it electronically, that saves clients money. And when you're going through legal matters, they're expensive. If there are ways where we can keep the cost lower by being able to do things electronically, that's a wonderful thing for the community, for the clients. The other thing is that I think that, like, Wayne County has indicated, they sent out an email, Zach may have gotten it too, that they're going to stay closed in the domestic division through the end of this calendar year.
Wow.
And operate things through Zoom. So my thought is, if they're going to do it for that long, and I understand Wayne County having a lot of cases of the virus, I mean, it'll probably stay around for a long time, and a lot of things will be handled that way. So the drive time for attorneys to go to court that we bill clients for, think of the savings that will be for clients when we don't have to bill for those kinds of things. We can bill mostly just for the focus of doing the work. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems more efficient all the way around. And,
Oh
and one starts to wonder, why hasn't this been done before? Right? But as in all cases, and everybody I've talked to, it's just not the way it's done. So now we're paving a new path, and you know.
It's a great thing, I think, for the legal profession. I do.
Oh yeah, innovation by necessity. It's great.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what tips do you guys have for businesses that you know, going through this period, what you've learned that you might be able to pass on to somebody else that may be struggling time?
Kathy, go ahead.
I'll tell you what I did. When
drink wine? Did you drink wine?
Well, maybe just a little.
Okay,
But, but when this first happened, the first thing I thought of was, okay, until such time as we can get set up and start doing things again, what are the things I wanted to focus on in my business that I didn't have a chance to do because I was busy? So what are, like, blogging and things that I wanted to do but I didn't have a chance to do. And so I really spent the first week or so just working on those kinds of things, because I thought, well, now's the time, right? And as business owners, I always look at it as whenever there's a lull in one area, take advantage of it and work on those things you couldn't before. And so I think sometimes when the going gets tough, just kind of sit back, buckle down, and say, what could I be working on that will make my business stronger when we are willing to reopen? So that's what I did.
Right, Zach?
I've unknowingly been preparing for this for years. I've really tried to make my practice more mobile than what it, a lot of people like, when I switched to a VoIP cloud phone service, that at the time that was just a cost saving measure. Now all my phone lines always come through an app on my cell phone, so I don't miss calls at all. I don't have to fool around with call forwarding or anything. It's just boom, it happens. I've been a proponent of remote desktop for years, just because there's always that one file that you save on your desktop and forget to put in the cloud or something like that, and you're in court and you're like, I gotta do something. Mm-hmm. And then just, like Kathy said, I was for the first week I sat around and thought, okay, well, here's all the stuff I can't do. What can I do? Mm-hmm. Focus on those areas, like I said, the federal courts have been really good with, the bankruptcy court really has been very good with getting out in front of this and setting things up to make it work remotely. So, bankruptcies are typically filed electronically. Now we're doing all the hearings either by telephone or Zoom, because the trustees are just private attorneys and they don't want to get sick either. They have 100+ people walk through their room every day. Mm-hmm. And that's typically in Detroit. So they don't want to deal with that either. So, it was between that and just focus on marketing, Hey, we're here. Here's what we can still do. Come, give us a call.
I wonder when things go back to normal, and maybe you guys can speak to this, or when they, and it will be a while for sure. And if you are focusing on those tasks that we don't normally get to, if they're going to start to be as important as the stuff that we're doing all the time, I'm wondering how that balance is going to go when we go back to normal. Because we're doing the same thing, at the chamber. This is something that we haven't really done, and we've done it. And now I'm thinking this is kind of important, and it's kind of important to our members to meet other members, number one, see what they're doing and learn from them. So, are there, these tasks that you're doing, like Kathy, you said blogging, or what are these things that you'll like bring back to importance when everything goes back to normal?
Well, I intend to, because I think that, sometimes getting something started takes so much longer than keeping it going, right?
Right,
and
exactly.
So, right. So, when you set up your framework, then after that big task is done, you can spend 5 minutes a day on it, or 5 minutes every other day on it, and keep it going. And so now I think I do have things the way I want them to be, so I can keep that going, which is really important to me and something I've wanted to do. So
yeah, interesting. Zach?
Yeah, I admittedly had been slacking on things like marketing, things like that, because I was just getting too busy.
Right.
Fortunately, my wife had always helped me out in the marketing department. She's got a great mind for it, but even, she got busy with the kids and everything. So now that I've had the time, I've been focusing on it, and it makes returns. So it's definitely, I want to focus on a resurgence of it once I'm too busy again to deal with it.
Right. I noticed, because we support small businesses, that a lot of small businesses do have a hard time with marketing. They can cover some of the big bases, but the small things, which in a way mean just as much as, an advertisement, like social media for one, which you go down a big black hole doing social media, but it really is important these days to do it. And I'm wondering if you guys have focused more on some of your social media stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's, you know, it is the direct means of communication to the people, you know, and Facebook ads are not, you know, to boost a post, it's relatively cheap, and that, you know, gets it in front of fresh eyes. So between that, I'm not so good at the Insta yet. Yeah, just getting
Talk to your 16-year-old, they'll help.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, so yeah, but yeah, I mean, for sure, social media has been just, it's getting people to updates constantly. That's what's been working, and that's what I've been focusing on at the least.
Yeah, adapting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you guys have any last words on you know, what you're doing or what we should do? Or well, my grandsons are here.
Well, I, for one, have worked at home from about March 23rd until about today. And you know, I'm the only one in here really. And so I really don't need to sit at home to be alone and to social distance. And so I did come back for today's chamber chatter and to kind of start working from my office again, although I'll be by myself for the most part. And it does feel really good to be back in this chair.
Yay, yay.
And not in my dining room.
Yeah. How about you? Are you going to go back to your office soon? Do you know? Are you allowed to, or you know, I'm not sure what
I mean,
your guidelines are.
My building is shared with an insurance agency, and insurance agencies were deemed essential, so they've been open this whole time. So a deep clean may be in order before I go back in. But I mean, I've gone back a few, you know, I have to check the mail every once in a while. So, and it's just, you know, walking in there, you know, like Kathy said, you get that feeling of, you know, this is nice.
Yeah.
Just the focusing though, the focusing that you can do in your office rather than at home, you know, and I sympathize with Zach a lot because my children are now 18 and 20. So I don't have little kids at home. But I can imagine, even if his wife is taking care of them, the constant distraction that would probably be. So good for you, Zach, that you're getting through that.
Oh, all day long, I think, what if my kids were little and I was trying to do this? I don't think I'd have a hair on my head.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time. I so appreciate it. And I know our businesses that are watching this appreciate it. And thanks a lot. Oh, come here. You want to say hi? See?
Oh, so cute. Hi.
So I have distractions too.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it, and have a great day.
Okay, take care.